This frame looks absolutely incredible, and that's because the clear coat went on flawlessly. That means we've successfully locked in 41 years of history while getting it ready for its next chapter. Now, if you're sitting there wondering what the heck I'm talking about, well, that's probably because you missed part 1. So you can cruise up here and go check that video out, or I'm going to give you a quick rundown to give you an idea of what we've done so far to get us to where we're at. We kicked this series off by taking this complete 1984 Univega and stripping it down to the frame, cleaning it up and clear coating it to give it some shine while protecting the original graphics. We left it to cure and headed over to visit my buddy Russ, the owner of Switzerland Trail, to start building the wheels. The goal of this bike is to create a cargo rig to carry coffee, gear, or everyday items like groceries so I can ride more and drive less. And that brings us to now, episode 2, where we're going to start by installing the Crust Clydesdale fork, which is the heart of the entire build. And a huge shout out to Crust, the creator of the Clydesdale, for sending this fork over and supporting the channel. And with all that being said, there's only one thing left to do, and that's getting this build started. So let's get to work. For handlebars, I went with the Velo Orange Crazy Bars. They're comfortable enough for all-day rides, but also quirky enough to match the spirit of this build. And in my experience, when a bike is fun to ride, you want to ride it everywhere, even when you don't have to, and that's exactly what I'm hoping to accomplish with this build. Every part I'm putting on this bike was intentionally chosen to make it easier than ever to say yes to riding and no to driving. Now, although every part was chosen intentionally, I should say the obvious. I haven't actually ridden the bike yet, so once we get a few rides in, we may need to make some tweaks. But the hope is that because we were so intentional, we'll be pretty close to perfect right out of the gate. I believe how you do anything is how you do everything, and that's why I choose to take my time with these builds. A bike built with care and intention rides better, lasts longer, and is just overall more fun in my opinion. In the last episode, my friend Russ, the owner of Switzerland Trail, came through with a bomb-proof rear wheel. The 20-inch front wheel is coming later in part 3 when he gets back to town, and it's going to be pretty rad because we'll have a disc brake up front. A big motivation for me with this cargo build is my small business, Traction Coffee. I want to be able to run orders around town without even having to start my car. So if you want to help me keep the wheels turning on this build and also save 30% on world-class coffee, well, you're in luck. All you have to do is use code JOYFUL at checkout when you visit tractioncoffee.com. All of our coffee is roasted by riders for riders, and we have a ton of different offerings, so that means we have something for anybody. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. But here's the really cool thing. If you live here in Longmont, Colorado, where we roast all of this coffee in-house, I will personally be loading your coffee order on my bike and delivering it to your door. Now, if you live outside of Longmont, which I know a ton of you do, don't stress. I'm gonna also be loading it on this cargo bike, taking it over to the post office and making sure it gets shipped directly to you. Thank you so much for checking out my small business, Traction Coffee. Now let's get back to the build. One of my favorite parts about projects just like this one is that there is no rule book. Just like life, there's no one right way to build a bike. It's all subjective. You follow what feels good, what excites you, and when you're done, you've got something that is a true reflection of your own joy. Ever since I was young, I thought it was so cool how bikes paralleled life in so many ways. And the older I get, the more I see those connections. Every bike or bike ride is full of lessons. Sometimes it's about the beauty of impermanence, sometimes resilience, other times patience. And the beautiful part is those lessons come through such a simple machine. Yet it has this endless way of teaching, reminding us how to live, how to keep moving forward, and how to find joy in the process. And that's why builds like this mean so much to me. They're more than just bikes. They're little reminders of the lessons that I've learned and the joy I get to keep chasing every time I ride. We just installed the saddle, and that's going to be that for episode 2. I did run into one issue with the brakes on this bike because these are cantilever posts and they're the old school type with the mounting holes that face outward, which means I can't run V-brakes on this bike. So I thankfully still had the stock cantilever brakes that we're going to end up running on this build. I think they look really cool anyways, and we're going to have the disc brake up front, so I don't think stopping power is going to be a huge issue. As we close this one out and move into episode 3, I could not be any more stoked because our to-do list is significantly shorter and this bike is really starting to take shape. So what is left to do in the next episode? Well, for starters, we're going to be receiving our front wheel from my friend Russ over at Switzerland Trail. So we'll start with getting that installed. We'll move on to installing the brake and derailleur cables, get that all fine-tuned and dialed in. Next up, we're going to move on to the Velo Orange Crazy Bars. We're going to be hitting these things with a really fun colored bar tape, which I think is going to make this build pop. And lastly, we're going to move on to the Crust Clydesdale fork. We're going to be cutting the steer tube down to a really comfortable length. I need to get the bike on the floor so I can just really feel it out before we do that. Then we're going to get it all cleaned up, and you guessed it, we're going to load it down and take it out for its first joyride. And before I let you guys go, I wanted to remind you one more time that you can save 30% on world-class coffee roasted by riders for riders when you visit tractioncoffee.com and use code JOYFUL at checkout. I'm also going to put all that information down in the bio below. This is my small roasting business, and I'm so excited to share coffee with you. We actually are about to celebrate 7 years in business, which is absolutely insane. If you've ever ordered from us before, thank you so much. And if you've yet to try us, now is the perfect opportunity. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to cruise down and hit that like button. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so you don't miss episode 3 when it drops. And lastly, I would love to hear what you think of this build so far. Let me know down in the comments. I'll see you there. Now, if you're still looking for something to watch until episode 3 drops, don't worry, I got you covered. Click over here and check out a surprise bike build I did for my dad on his original mountain bike that he bought back in 1989, or click over here to check out this game-changing mountain bike product. We'll see you there. Later.